guys, how's it going? We're going to be talking about the Seymour Duncan Blackout active pickups. This is of course the ABH1 version, which is the first version, the original version of the pickup, and not a prototype obviously, this is the first version of the pickup that was for sale. They're installed in an ESP EC500 guitar. You can Google this axe to get more than I'm going to tell you about it now, but it's got a mahogany body. It's got an, I believe, ebony fretboard, if not rosewood. You can also look that up. The neck is maple, they colored it white, and as you can see, there are 3 knobs, so there's a volume for each pickup, and then there's an overall tone for both pickups. And it's kind of like a Les Paul, the shape of the guitar and the layout, so it's a tune-o-matic bridge, and it's got the 3-way position toggle system. So that's basically what we're working with, and the tuning of the guitar is in standard and drop D for all of the samples that you're going to hear later. Now, I've talked about active pickups before, and in terms of bass guitar and guitar, the only difference is in why people would use them. The unit is still the same thing. It's still an active pickup. It's a pickup that is powered with a battery that has an internal preamp that gives you more headroom. It does what it does with what it does it for. So if you guys want to check out more videos of that, click on that. If not, let's get into the Seymour Duncan versus EMG debate. EMG started out as the top on all active pickups, and to this day is still a leading company on active pickups. Any guitarist that had active pickups in their guitar most likely had EMGs in there. Now, just because they were the leader in active pickups does not mean that they were the leader in all pickups. Seymour Duncan had the world's best passive pickups, that a lot of people would say so. So these two companies were leading the pickup nation, so to speak, and one was specializing more in passive pickups and the other one obviously specializing more in active pickups. Seymour Duncan, I guess, said that they weren't having it. Now, Seymour Duncan had active pickups at the time, and they've had active pickups for a while. They've had the Livewire set, but they just weren't known very well for their active line. They decided to come out with the Blackouts, and it gained recognition almost instantly, even before the pickups came out. Artists were prototype testing the pickups, people were already switching them before the pickups came out, and it kind of gave EMG a little bit of a punch in the stomach because EMG's leading pickup, the 81 for the bridge, was being rivaled by Seymour Duncan's bridge version of the Blackout. And with that, also you have to buy the neck version of it because having just one of the two doesn't do any good for you. You are sucked into switching whatever EMG you have in your neck position for the Blackout neck. A lot of people ended up doing this for so many reasons. They were like, it's clear, it does everything my 81 does, but it does it better. And the advantage of time, obviously, coming out way after the 81 did. It has the advantage of basically being upgraded or seeing the mistakes of the 81 or seeing what it didn't do, and bringing it to a higher standard. EMG didn't actually sit so quietly on this one. They made a series called the X Series, EMG X's. Now, I did a video on that. Whether it's not out now, I don't know. I don't think it actually is. If it is, click on the button to go see it. It's a really cool video. And I love EMG X. I will tell you in the video as well. But EMG X was the answer to Seymour Duncan's Blackouts. Or at least some people would say so. I don't think that was the actual reason. I mean, both companies probably had their advancements. EMG X is what you would normally compare to a Seymour Duncan Blackout, given the fact that they both came out around the same time. The EMG X's, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that compare the two pickups. I'm not here to do that. I personally don't like the EMG-X's on guitars. I think that they sound exactly like their counterpart pickups from back in the day, but that they've been artificially changed a little bit. That's my opinion. Again, that's after just listening to them and playing through them myself. You can check that out yourself and then think about what you want. Artists that started doing this switch from EMG 81 to Seymour Duncan back in the day were Mick Thompson, Alexi Leo has done it actually just recently. Mike and Jeff from Devil Driver. Many metal artists have just swooped the fact that these pickups are on the market. Most metal guitars have this setup in them that's been upgraded from what EMG used to come with. These pickups don't normally come with a lot of guitars because Seymour Duncan hasn't actually done any signing with companies saying that, okay, we'll release your guitar stock with these pickups. You can obviously get artist models with those artists that endorse these pickups, and obviously those guitars are going to come with them. That's about it for now. EMG obviously has had the active game for a while, so their pickups come stock in some guitars, and you'll see that people either move to the Seymour Duncan Blackouts, or they'll switch out the EMGs and go to passive pickups on that instrument altogether. Again, the only thing I can say about the original 81 and this Blackout is the fact that the original 81 came out before it, and anything that you would think is an improvement or better was the fact that it came out way after and that they had that advantage. If you think that the 81 sounds better, that's probably going to be because it sounds better to you in your ear, and this pickup's improvements, so to speak, aren't good for you, so you again judge that yourself. So left with any choice, I moved to the Seymour Duncan Blackouts active pickup system for my guitar. Alright, let's get to the sound demos. I'm going to let you guys hear it to the best of my abilities, recorded through an interface that I did a review on, so you guys can check that out. And the interface is running through the guitar by itself, so there's no amp, there's nothing in between the guitar and the interface, and I'm using Apple Logic software, so I'm using all the effects on the actual software itself. So those are the only variables, with the fact that this is the guitar that I'm using. Other than that, there's nothing tabbed with, there's nothing touched, but this is how the pickups sound. review, or at least my review. These, the bottom line, are the best pickups for guitar that I have ever used. And I'm not a primary guitar player. I play guitar all the time. I am a huge enthusiast, but I don't play guitar for a band, and I don't use these these in the settings that every guitarist would be using them. So maybe in the live situation, there might not be good for you. Of course, you can check that out yourself. But I personally think that it's a perfect pickup. It sounds just right for metal. It's versatile enough to be capable of playing mostly any type of music if you're not too picky with the tones that it's achieving for that particular type of music. As I said before, compared to the EMG-X, I prefer the Blackouts only because I don't actually like the EMG-X's. If I had any sort of liking for the EMG-X, I would put them head-to-head and tell you which one is better, but to me, the Seymour Duncan Blackouts wins that race. It's got a tight bottom end, it's got a not too searing high end, your mid-range is flat but perfect, so you can scoop it in your amp or you can boost them in your amp. You don't have to let the pickup give that tonal quality unless it's clean. Then the mid-range sticks out perfectly. In terms of cost, if you're paying more than $175 for these, for the set of these, you're getting in the end. Get a professional to install these. I've had a terrible experience, especially with active pickups, when it comes to people that aren't professionals installing them, because they might know what they're doing. Obviously, they do know what they're doing because you do trust them for a reason, but a lot can go wrong because it's a bit of a complicated procedure for a lot of guitars that aren't either built for active systems, or if you're, if you're just moving completely, it's not only a pickup switch, but it's a passive to an active pickup switch, so you're doing a lot more conversions, a lot more things like that. So I definitely recommend that you spend the $20 to $35. If you're spending more than $35 for the installation for these pickups, then you're getting up the Blackouts for bass. There is nothing that I know about those pickups that you guys don't know. If you've seen the one video or the two videos that Seymour Duncan has ever released about those, that's about as much as anybody I know knows, or you, maybe, if you guys are asking any questions. There is no info. If you guys want to check out the video, it's in my description. The pickups only come in soap bar style, so if you've got a soap bar style setup on bass, you want to move an active system, then obviously check that out. I would recommend, if you're a bass player switching to active systems, or if you're a bass player that just wants to use active systems at all, going to EMG, because EMG is perfect for bass players that are looking for active systems. Of course, there's many other companies out there, and you do your research, you can find a lot better of a scenario, but I would say that EMG dominates for bass guitars, and Seymour Duncan, at this moment for me, dominates for guitars in general. So if you guys haven't checked these out, I definitely recommend going out and trying them wherever you can find a guitar that has these installed, probably used guitars that are sold back to shops. It's definitely worth the almost $200 investment that you'd be making for the set, provided that you actually want an active pickup. So if you're on the brink about active pickups and you don't know which one to switch to, I definitely recommend the Seymour Duncan Blackout. No-brainer, because obviously you're not going to be spending money to buy all the pickups that you want just to see which one you like, so I would recommend going for these first. If you guys have any questions on the pickups or the guitar itself, I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.